In this lecture, we will solve the issue of the receiving the warning that you missed the checkpoint when we do not miss the checkpoint. So what we want is, we want that our checkpoint detect the collision only with one of these colliders. Now I will use collider body. Our checkpoint will detect the collision only with the collider body. Now collider bottom and collider front will collide with other game objects in the world, but they will not collide with the checkpoint. So for this we will use layers. Go to your game object and not game object here. Go to edit and go to project settings. And in the project settings at the bottom you have a layer collision matrix. Now we will add a new layer. To add a new layer, first select your collider body. We will add this collider body into another layer. Now to add a layer, go to the layers and click on the add layer. Similarly, you add a tag, you can add a new layer and I will name it car body. Now I will add another layer and this will be checkpoint layer. Now currently this collider body is in the default layer. I will change it and add it into the car body layer. And now select your all the checkpoints and add these into the checkpoint layer. Now what is meaning of this? Why are we using these layers and how we can do this? How we can use this to disable collisions between two game objects? So here is the collision matrix. You can see that in the collision matrix there is the checkpoint layer here, and if you see here that our checkpoint layer will collide with the default layer because this is checked, and if I make it unchecked then our checkpoint will not collide with everything in the default layer. So what we want is that our checkpoint collides with car body only. It do not collide with any other game object. First I will enable the car body layer matrix here. Car body will collide with all the game object. It will collide the game object in the default layer, in the transparent effects layer. I will enable them all. By default, every game object is in the default layer. If you select, see here, your AI car, it is in the default layer. So our car body will collide with any game object in all the layers, but our checkpoint will not collide with any game object. It will collide with only the car body. And now you will see that this collision message will be received only one time when our car will collide with the checkpoint. So let's see now. And you can see that we are receiving only one collision message. Now, to show this, so that you can understand it clearly, I will select the game object and I will turn off the on trigger. Now our car can have actual collision with these. And now in the collision matrix, I want to go to project settings, and in the project setting, I will enable all the collisions. Now our checkpoint can collide with everything. Now let's see what happens. This is for testing only. Now our car will have actual collision. you can see that our AI car or car cannot pass through. Now, our car body is inside the car body layer. First, I will disable these colliders so that they do not collide with the checkpoint. And now let's play again. Now our car can collide with the checkpoint. So I will go to the collision matrix. I want that our car body do not have collision with the checkpoint. In the collision matrix, I will disable the collision between the car body and the checkpoint. And I am now doing the opposite thing. It is not what we want. I am showing it only for testing so that you can understand this collision matrix. Now our car body will not collide with the checkpoint and it will pass through. So it will pass through. So this is how we can use collision matrix. Now I will enable these colliders and I will disable the collision with every other game object. Now our checkpoint can collide with only the car body. It will not collide with any game object in any other layer. So let's see and play the whole track. Do we receive the error? First I will enable these checkpoints, enable the match renderer so that first we will skip any checkpoint and you will see that we will receive an error. Not error, the text will be shown here. And first I need to select the checkpoints and I will turn the is trigger back on again. Now I will skip this checkpoint. And you see that we receive the warning that you missed the checkpoint. I will go back to the last checkpoint. And now I will complete the track. And I will disable the mesh renderer. Let's complete the track and see that we will sit still, receive this message when we collide with the last checkpoint. And you can see that our lab has been updated and then this text is not showing. So in that way we solve the issue. In this lecture we will write script to reset the AI car back on track when it loses control and it gets off the track. In the AI car, I have changed its top speed to 1000 miles per hour. I have done this because with this high speed, it will lose control often and it will get off the track. Now, inside your checkpoint script, we need to keep track of the previous checkpoint, the last checkpoint with the car hits. So, declare here game object previous checkpoint and at the start the previous checkpoint will be the first checkpoint which is this checkpoint named 0. So here we have found all the checkpoints with the tag checkpoint. We will write a for each loop for each game object checkpoint in checkpoints if checkpoint.name is 0, it means that it is the first checkpoint. Then our previous checkpoint as start will be this checkpoint. Now after this we will break out of the loop. So at the start our previous checkpoint will be the first checkpoint. Now we will keep updating this checkpoint every time when car hits the next checkpoint. So here when car hits the next checkpoint we will say previous checkpoint is equal to call.gameObject. Now we will use this previous checkpoint to reset the car to the position of this checkpoint. Now first let's see if the value of this previous checkpoint is updating. Go to your AI car. Now we need to attach the checkpoint script to this AI car also. And this checkpoint needs to be public because we will access it in the reset car script. Now to detect the collision with the checkpoint, in the colliders of the AI car, one of the collider must have the car body layer, not the tag. It should be in the layer car body. So I have changed the layer of the collider body from the default to car body. So let's play the game now. And if you see inside the checkpoints, and we have some error here. First of all, let me see what is this error. And we don't want, if you remember that in the checkpoint script, we are updating this lap count. We don't want this in case of the AI car. We want this lap to be updated only when it is the player car. So here we will check update the lap text only when gameObject.tag is the player. You can see that our main car has the tag player, and now we will not receive this error. And at the start, the previous checkpoint has the value 0, and now it should start updating. And now 1, 2, 3, and it is updating. Now we will write our reset car script, and you will see how we will use this previous checkpoint. First of all, at the top, we need to declare some variables. Float elapsed time and initialize it with the 0, and checkpoints and then the rigid body. We will use the rigid body to get the velocity of the AI car. In the start, we will get the rigid body component and the checkpoint script attached to the car. Get component rigid body. Our AI car has a component AI car and both the player car have rigid body attached. You can see that this is the rigid body attached and we are getting this component. We will use this rigid body to get the velocity of the AI car. So next we will get the checkpoint script attached to the car. Get component checkpoints. Now inside the update we will check the velocity of the car. So when AI car gets stuck, its velocity becomes 0 and it can't move. So we will write the condition if RB dot velocity dot magnitude is equal to less than or equal to 1. If it is less than or equal to 1, which means that car is not moving or it is moving very slowly, then we will increase the elapsed time by adding a very small amount to it, and we will use the time dot delta time to add the small amount to the elapsed time. Now this elapsed time will keep increasing, and here we will check if elapsed time is greater than 5 seconds have passed, then what we will do, we will reset the car position. Now where we will put this car which is stuck outside of track, we will put it at the position of the previous checkpoint. GameJack.transform.position checkpoints dot previous checkpoint dot transform dot position. And once the car is reset, we need to reset the elapsed time, because it has value greater than 5. Then we will reset its value and we will make it again 0. So let's test the script now. And I will play the game and we will see the AI car. Now it has too high speed, 1000 miles per hour. It will lose control somewhere and it will get off the track, and at some point it will not be able to move. Now this is our AI car moving, and here it gets off the track and it is moving very slowly, and now it no longer moves and still moving very slowly, and now it is stuck. It has nowhere to go and wait for some time. And it should reset now. No, it is not resetting because we have not attached the reset script to it. So first we need to attach the reset script. Now let's play again. We again have to wait for AI car to get stuck here. and here it loses control, and now it is stuck here, and this time it was successful to move back to track. So we have to wait again. And I will stop the game and I will increase the speed to 2000 miles per hour. Now in reality, the car speed will never reach the 2000 miles per hour because the car slows down when a turn comes, and then it picks up the speed again, and now it is stuck and wait for it to move back to the track, and now it is reset. And this was because of the script. Now it is again off the track, and now back to the track, and now it is moving again, and our script is working now. In the last lecture, we wrote the script to calculate the position of our player car and the AI car. Now, in this lecture, we will show this position of the car through a text element. Currently, we are using console.log to show the position of the car, but now we will use a text element, UI text element. So go to your canvas and duplicate your lap text, which is showing the current lap number, and duplicate it and move it down. And here we can change the default text like position and position first. You can see that the text is not showing, and I will go to the scene view and make the 2D view, double click the lap text and make this text bigger. Also, I don't want this big text. I will change the font size, and I will try the font size 40 or maybe 50. So I will name it position text. Now we will write the script to update its position. Now open your UI script and at top here declare another game object. I will copy it and paste it here. Now this will be our position text. Now inside this UI script, drag this position text and drag it here. Now we will update the position text in the update. So if you remember, in the last lecture in the calculate positions, we wrote the script to get the position of the car, and it takes the name of the game object, name of the car, as an argument and shows its position during the race. So we will use this method inside the UI script. As this method is static, we can call it using the class name, and we don't need the instance of the class. So we can write calculate position.getPositions, and here we will give it the name of the player. Name of this game object player. This game object is our player card, and it will now show the position of the player card, and here we will need the name of the player because it takes the name of the player as an argument. And now you will see that this position text will be updated. Now as soon as the AI car will hit the first checkpoint, the position will start updating. And actually there is some problem, the position is not updating, it is still the position first. And let me see what is the error. I have saved this script, calculate positions, .get positions, player name. And let me try again. I have dragged this position text here to the UI text, and let's try again. And now it is the second position in the console.log, but for some reason the calculate positions in the UI script is not showing us the correct position. So it is the position first, and now it is not becoming second. And this is because I am doing a big mistake. I am only calling this function and I am not actually changing the text. So I need to change the text. This will return us the string position. If you see here, it will return us the string first, second, or if none of the first or second position is done, then it will return unknown. So in all of the cases when we are doing everything right, it will return first or second position. So we need to use this string return to change the text of the position text. So I will copy it and I will say here position text dot get component text and dot text is equal to calculate position dot get positions. Now our position will update in the text. And AI car hits the first checkpoint and now position is updating. And if I go ahead of this car, now you can see that it is the first. Now it is only showing the first, not the position first. If you want that it shows like this position and then first, then you can change it here. I will say here, I will concatenate it with the position text. Position and then some space and then the plus. Now the text will be like this text. And now it is the position second, and when I will go ahead of this car, it will be the first position. Now we are doing all of the UI stuff in our UI script, but we are calculating the lap outside of this UI script. So what I will do, I will cut this lap text from here and I will do it in the UI script. So for this, what we need is the checkpoint. So here, I will declare a checkpoint. And now I will copy this and I will paste it here inside the update, because we are doing this inside the, we are doing it actually in case of on trigger enter. So how we can do this inside the UI script, because actually we can do it in the update here, and I will paste it here. And now it is not the checkpoint. We will use this checkpoint object to get the checkpoint number. Checkpoint dot checkpoint, and it will give us the current checkpoint number. And this UI script is automatically getting the player. So we know that this is the player. So now it is actually, in case of the checkpoint, this checkpoint script was attached to the AI car. You can see that it is attached to the AI car, and it was also attached to our player car. So we were writing this condition that don't change the text in case of the AI car. Now we don't need this condition. I will remove this condition. And here I will declare another game object text, game object for our text element, and I will say it lab text. Now it is our lab text, and let this script compile. Now there is some error, and we will remove these errors shortly. So actually this text element will not show until we will remove these errors. So this is the lab capital T text, and we need to get the component attached to this game object. Lab text.get component, and component attached is the text dot text is equal to the current lab number, and to get the current lab number we use this object of the checkpoint dot lab. So let's see that if it is working, and drag this lab text here. And there is some error here, and I will double click it to see where is this error. Actually we need to get this checkpoint attached to this player. So what we will say here, we have declared this object but we have not assigned it. So player dot get component checkpoints. Now let's play the game again to see that if it is working. And you can see that our lab text will be updating, and it is updating now. Now inside our checkpoint script, we were first doing it inside the checkpoint script. Actually we still have not removed it, and I will remove it from here, and now I will check again if it is working correctly. So let's check now. And this is the first lab now, and it is working now. Now we are doing all of the UI stuff inside the UI script. So in this lecture, we have shown the position of the car through the text element, and also we removed the UI programming, UI stuff from the checkpoints and did it in the UI script. So in the next lecture, what we will do, we will write the stopping conditions through script for our cars. Currently, our AI car and the player car both will keep going. They will not stop. So we will define the maximum laps. For example, cars can play 2 laps or 3 laps or only 1 lap. Then our AI car will stop after the first lap, and also we will not be able to drive our player car when it has completed the laps. So we will do it in the next lecture. In this lecture, we will write the script to stop the cars when laps are completed. So we will do this inside a script, and we will create a new script for it, and I have named it Race Manager. Create a Race Manager class, Race Manager script, and open it. Now we will write all the code inside here, inside this Race Manager. So here we will declare some variables. We will stop both the player car and AI car through this script. First we will write code for the player car. We will declare game object player, and we can declare it as a public, or we can find it inside here. If we declare it public, then we can drag the player car inside the inspector through hierarchy, but I will find it through the player tag game object that find game object with tag player, and now it will find the player car. Next, we will declare some audio sources. It is array of the audio source. Now, if you see here, you can see that the car has audio sources attached, and it is not one audio source. There are multiple audio sources, and they are actually attached at runtime. So if I play the game, now you can see that at runtime 4 audio sources have been attached. So when our car will finish the laps, we will disable all these audio sources to stop the audio from playing. So that is why we are declaring this array of the audio sources. Now I will declare checkpoints, and here in the start I will get the checkpoint script attached to the player. Game object, not game object, player dot get component checkpoints, and then I will declare maximum laps. Our car can play max laps. Now it is public, and you can change its value through inspector, and actually it will show if I will attach it to a game object in the hierarchy. I will create an empty game object, and I will name it Race Manager and attach the Race Manager script to it. You can see that these are the maximum laps. I can declare a default value here, 1, and you can change these values here. So by default value is 1. our car will stop after completing the one lap. Now we will write a method to stop the car. To stop the car, actually, we will disable the audio sources and we will disable the car controller, car user controller, and all these scripts attached to this car will be disabled. To access these scripts inside the code, we need to declare a namespace here, and this namespace is the standard assets.vehicles. So I will write here using Unity standard assets dot vehicles dot car. So now we will start writing our stop car method. So one by one we will disable all the components attached to the car. And first we will say it will receive actually a game object, and it will be a car, because this stop car will stop our AI car and our player car. So if we send it the player car game object, then it will stop the player car, and if we send it the AI car, then it will stop the AI car. So we will write car.getComponent car controller dot unenabled is equal to false. Now we are able to access this car controller attached to the car. This is the car controller attached to the car, and we are able to access it due to this namespace. If I remove this namespace here, then you can see that it will show us error. So it will say type or namespace car controller cannot be found. Next, we will remove the car reset component. Not the reset component, actually we will do it inside in case of the AI car. Currently we are doing it for the player car. So what things we should do next? Actually, after disabling the car controller, our car will be moving. So we need to stop the car. By disabling the car controller, it will disable the car controller. We will not be able to control the car, but it will keep moving. We will stop the car, and for this we will make the velocity of the car 0. So to do this, we will write car.getComponent rigid body dot velocity, and our velocity is a vector, and to make it 0, I will say 0 in the x, y and z direction. And then we will get all the audio sources attached to the car. So audio sources, this time we will say car.getComponents. And audio source. It will get all the audio sources attached to the car. Remember, if we want to get all the audio sources attached, then we will use get components. It is not the get component. It has the S with it, and it is the get components. So after getting all the audio sources, we will disable and we will write for each loop for it. For each audio source in our array audio sources, audio source dot enabled is false. So this method will stop our car. It will disable the car controller. We will not be able to control the car, and also it will disable the audio and it will make the velocity of the car zero. So if car is moving, then it will stop it. Now we need to call it inside the update. So first, if I call it without any condition, stop car, and I will say game object car, and not car, it is the player. Actually, we cannot call it from the start because it may give us error, because at the start this car has no audio sources attached. So we can try it. And yes, it is giving us the error. And this error is actually due to the position text, because it is not able to get to the player car. So we should not get this error from the UI script. Let me disable this script and play it again. And something is wrong here. We are getting the error from the UI script here. And it is saying, it is giving us error from this line. So let me see. This script was working in the previous lecture. Actually, these position text are no longer assigned due to some reason. They were assigned, but now they are null, and I will reassign them, and I will also assign the lab text. So actually I need to stop my game now. I will do the changes. I will do it again, drag the position text and drag the lab text. So we will not get this error now. I will enable this script again, game object again, and let's try if the car stops without any error. Now you can see that we are calling this function stop car at the start. Now if you try to play your car, you will not be able to play it. The audio sources are disabled. Actually, we also need to disable the car user control. So if I disable this user control, then I will not be able to have any effect of the movement of the car. If I enable it, then we can see that our car tries to move a little. So I will disable it and again try to play. So we need to add an extra line. So if car dot get component car user control is not equal to null, we are checking if the car user control script is attached to the car, then we will disable this component. Car dot get component car user control dot enabled is equal to false. Now we are checking if this script is attached to the car, because our AI car has no car user control script attached. So we will use this method for both the player car and the AI car. So if we do not check here, then we will call this function for the AI car, and AI car has no car user control attached and it has the car AI control attached. In that case we will get an error. To avoid this error, we are checking if the car user control script is attached, then disable it. So let's play again. And now we are not able to move our car. And our audio is also disabled. We are still listening the audio actually, and this is not our car's audio. This is the audio of the AI car. If I disable the AI car, then there will be no sound. Now we don't want to stop this car at the start. We will check for some conditions here, and we will check here is checkpoints.lap current lap number is greater than max lap. Then stop the car. So we have the lap number in the checkpoints and it will be updated, and if it is greater than the maximum allowed laps, then stop the car. Now max lap is 1. Make sure it is also 1 here, and let's try to play the game, and we will see if the car stops after the lap 1. Now this is the first lap starting. When lap will become 2, it will be greater than the max laps and our car should stop. Now our AI car is moving too slowly because I have changed the top speed of the car and made it very slow. And here you can see that we completed the lap and our car has stopped now. And we will do the same thing for the AI car in the next lecture. And our car is still moving. And let me see how we can stop it completely. We will solve this problem in the next lecture. It is moving slowly, but we want to stop it completely. And also in the next lecture, we will stop our AI car. We will add the code for the AI car. Currently, this code is able to stop only the player car. In the last lecture, we wrote the script to stop our car when laps are finished. In this lecture, we will do this for our AI car. This is our AI car and I have created a tag AI and assigned it this tag. Now I will duplicate this car and make another AI car and move it away from this car in the same view. Now we have 3 cars in our scenes. Now in our calculate position scripts, I have added a case 3. Let me show you what will happen if we have not this case 3. Now we have 3 cars and now we need to calculate the position for all of the cars. Now, when our car will be at this third position, because third position do not exist in our script. As soon as I will cross a car, its position will become second or first, but the third position will not be shown correctly. So I will change it here and I will add another position, and this is the third position now. Now, if I play my game, it should show now the position third. I will move away from the A car so that it can move. And now you can see that our car is at third position. Now we will write the code for our AI cars. We have two AI cars in our scene. Also, our AI car, our player car is coming in the way of the cars. So I will move it back here. Now I will write the code for the AI cars. We will use same method stop car, but we need to add something in this method. Now at the top after the game object player, we will declare an array of the game objects and it will store our AI cars. And then in the start method, we will find these AI cars. So we will say AIs are game object that get component, game object that find game objects with tag, game object that find game objects with tag, and the tag is AI. We will find all the cars with the AI tag and will store it inside the array. Now inside here, inside the update, we will call the stop car method for each of the AI cars. So we will say for each game object AI in AI's stop car, and we will send it the AI car. Now before this, I will comment this line. In the previous lecture, we had a problem that our not stopping when the lap finishes and it was moving very slowly even after we change its velocity to 0. So first I will solve this problem before writing the code for the AI cars. So I will disable the AI cars for now. Now if you see the rigid body attached to the player car, you can see that it has a property is kinematic. If this is kinematic is true, then it will disable all the physics forces acting on the car. If I play my game, you can see that I can control my car and it is moving. Now, if I make its kinematic true for the rigid body, then our car will stop immediately if it is moving and I will not be able to move my car. Now I will use this is kinematic to stop the car when the lap finishes. So down here I will copy this line and I will make the is kinematic true. Rigid body dot is kinematic is true. Now our car will not move when the lap finishes. So you can try it and play the lap and our car will stop. Now we are back to the code for AI cars and we are stopping the AI car. We will stop the AI car based on a condition and this condition will be the same. For the player car we are checking for the maximum laps. we are checking for the current lap number and comparing it with the max laps. So we will get the checkpoint script attached to the AI car. So we will say if AI dot get component checkpoints dot lap is greater than max lap, then stop this car. Now to stop this car, we also need to disable the car AI control attached to the car. So I will copy these lines and paste this down here. So we will check if the car AI control is attached to the car. We need to check it because car AI control is not attached to the player car. If it is attached, then disable it. So this will stop our AI car. Now we can use this code for our AI car also. So let's try it now. And I have increased the top speed for the AI cars. First AI car has the top speed. It has the top speed 150 miles and other car has top speed 100 miles. I will give it 100 miles to make it different from the other car. So let's see now in the scene view. So our AI cars are moving. So we will wait until they finish the lap and they should stop after finishing the lap. And this car is stuck now, and because 150 miles per hour speed is too much for it and it lost control, now it will be able to reset itself. Now this slower car has moved ahead and it is close to finishing the lap, and I will move my player car out of the way, and you can see that the AI car which finishes the lap has stopped. This car has stopped and this car has moved in the air actually, and this is because of the reset car script. I will stop the game now. If you remember in the reset car script, what we were doing, we were resetting the position of the car if its velocity is close to 0. So at the end when the lap finishes, when the car has completed total laps, the velocity becomes 0 and the reset car script will keep changing the position of the car. So what we need to do is we will also disable the reset car script at the end. So we will get the reset car script. We will check if it is attached. Then we will disable it. So that is our complete lecture, complete code for stopping the cars after the maximum laps. In the last lecture, we showed the position of the car when it finishes the lap. In this lecture, we will make a way for player to pass the game. He can hit a key on keyboard and the game will pause and a panel will appear on the screen. So this panel will be like this panel which shows the final position of the car. So this was the panel which showed the position of the car. I have added a dummy text inside the text element. So I will duplicate this panel. Duplicate it and disable it again. And I will name it Pause Screen. And inside here there will be a text and it will say game paused. Now click this icon and press Alt on your keyboard and click here. This will bring your text in the middle of the screen, and now align it horizontally. To align horizontally, click this, and now it is in the middle. Now you can move this text up. So down here we will add another button. It is the only button in this panel. We will add a button here. And I will go to the scene view. And I will scale it up. And this button will be used to resume game after pausing. So I will say resume BTN or resume button. I will change this text to resume, and also I will change the font size and will make it 32. If you want, you can also change the color of the text. And now this panel will show when user will hit a key on the keyboard, and I will use the escape key. So I will disable this panel for now, and let me save my scene. Now we will add this functionality in the UI script. First of all, declare a public game object path game menu and select your UI script and drag this pause screen here. And here in the update, you will check if user has pressed a key. So I will say if input.getKey down, and the key we will check for is the escape key. So we will say key code.escape. If user has pressed the escape key, then what we will do, we will show this panel. This is the pause game menu or pause game screen. The set active, by default it is deactivated, and I will make it active. Now this will only show the panel, it will not pause the game. After this, to pause the game, what we will use timescale is 0. So when we set timescale to 0, it will pause everything in the game. So let me show you now. Make sure that you have saved your script, and I will play game now. So if I press the escape key, you can see that game has been paused, and now we will code this button functionality, and if I click this button, it will resume the game. So here we have already added the button. Now we will add event to this button. To add the on-click event to this button, first I will add a method in the UI script, and this method should be public. And I will say it public resume game. And public void resume game, and this method is very simple, and we will add a one line here, and it will set the time scale back to 1. Now this code will be called on the button click. To do this, click this plus icon on your button, select your button here and click this plus icon. Now inside here we need to drag a to which this script is attached where this method is written. So this method is written inside the UI script class, and this UI script class is attached to the UI script game object. So I will select the button and I will drag the UI script here. So now click here, and from here click this game object, and here select your method, and this is the method we want to call. So this is how you add on click event to button in Unity. Now if I play my game, and I can press escape key and game is paused, and if I press this resume button, the game is resumed, but I forgot to hide this screen again. To hide the screen, it is again simple, and I will say here pause game menu does set active false. So press the escape key. This screen is being shown now, and now press it, and now your game is resumed again. So this is how we added pause functionality to our game, and we can also resume it by clicking a button. So in the next lecture now we will start creating main menu for our game.